money long, nothing on credit. I got style, don't catch no feelings. All this bread, ain't got no lettuce. I got style, don't catch no feelings. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, look. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, look. Look, look. Look, look. Look, look. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Watch me. Sit back. Sit back. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. My cup off and make them scream. Go pop off for TMZ. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. nothing on credit. I got style, don't catch no feelings. All this bread ain't got no lettuce. I got style, don't catch no feelings. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, look. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, look. Look, look. Look, look. Look, look. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Watch me. Sit back. Sit back. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back.
Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Clash of Champions in Valorant, hosted by, excuse me right there, hosted here at point out. Of course, we do apologize for the technical issues that we have been experiencing. As you can see, we have come directly back into the match itself. Kind of had to take a long break there just to figure out a few things and crashes, and you get it. It happens a lot, unfortunately, and it is what it is. But we are back, and as you can see, 3 rounds have taken place while we have had to take our break. And in the background, so right now, Nonchalant are 2-1 up, with BABAM having only managed to take 1 round on their side of this first half, and we've already got
Locating target.
going off.
Once the ground.
Goes through, but then first kill, Rosa taking 1, Andromeda firing back with 2 back-to-back, but 2 more from the side of Nonchalant, immediately down to a 3v2. BABAM on the back foot.
Yep, since it's 1-2, it's going to be much more difficult though for BABAM to focus on that current situation though. But great headshot though, coming in from the XZOR. Post-spawn though, not being able to use the post-spawn as of now, freezes timing. Not going to work out way too well, but XZOR securing that one more headshot will secure the post-plant as well. Now it's a 1v1. Tejo's he's gonna be really careful though, so he's gonna fall back all the way towards the B side and try to hold his ground. Or maybe he'll just wait for Wise to just arrive right at his crosshairs. There you go. Info's given, and so is the post plant coming in from Nonchalant.
Spike planted.
Here we go in the post plant right now, and mind you that Tejo is still at health, and unfortunately did not have the required amount to take that engagement. And Ezio playing the Vise will be able to get this 4th round, making it an even 2-2 as BABAM equal the score with the clutch coming in.
So according to the history, I believe that it is Nonchalant who have secured the first round of the pistol rounds, which means that they had the advantage of the economy right after round number 2. But I believe once we head in towards round number 4, you can clearly see that from the side of team BABAM, they really did eventually get back themselves up, make sure that the economy is theirs, and right now it's going to be a little bit problems for Nonchalant to try to figure out a way to hold their ground out. So aggressive is always the name, aggressive is always the key, and thanks to Tejo being able to concuss one of the most important chokeholds, it'll make it much more difficult for the defenders to hold their ground out, especially with the smokes already being prepped and prepared. Post-front it is. BABAM, information's been given, so is the shotgun from Ren. Bucky definitely works out like a charm. Post-front it is. NCL back on track.
Back on track indeed. That Tejo tracking drone definitely giving them a lot of dividend right there. Along with the open smokes coming in, they are hard charging this side right about hopefully I should say. He's not going to find anyone. The enemy open will take him down. Gamble with another, and there's Gamble with the final kill. Andromeda, the last one to fall. And NCL fire back with their own round, taking back the lead. And after that, they had to take a little pistol round there, but they did get the pickups from the defeated BABAM players, which allowed them to actually gain a lot of momentum right there. And now with that momentum, they're going to get a good round of economy out of this. A lot of utility coming in, a lot of hard shields, or heavy shields, I should say. And of course, as you can see, Van. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Valorant Clash of Champions, hosted right here, of course, on your screens by Point Out. We're your hosts, Blackjack and Babagusta, back once again after a few, back and forths with technical updates as you do, but we are here, and we're here for one very exciting quarterfinals match indeed, as ROG Academy will be taking on RTN. Baba, how do you feel about this map, which is going to be Haven?
Yep. I have to say, Jack, ROG Academy versus RTN will definitely be an interesting match to look at. Usually when it comes to our Valorant matches, we always expect to see Ascent being picked most of the time. But this time, there are some slight changes on the maps, though. I mean, the first previous matchup that we were sort of recently casting, we had Lotus, if I remember right. So the second matchup being on Haven, which means it's a three-sided map, which is pretty much similar to map Lotus. The thing about Haven is that those three sites will be even much more difficult for the defenders to defend those certain sites. So I would say for a Sentinel, Cypher is a must-have. Sure, you could maybe try to get Vice in, maybe to try to block those using the walls to block out towards garage door, but more and all, only time will tell once we head into the game right away and check the type of agents do we get to see between both the sides from ROG versus RTN. So without any further ado, let's just take a look at the agent select.
And as is to be expected, I think ROG going for the Jet, the Omen, the Cypher, as you predicted right there. Haven is definitely one of Cypher's best maps. I think we can all agree on that. A Breach, an old classic, if you will, and Sova. So very classic, launch agents type of team going on here from ROG's side. And RTN looks like they might be going something similar with maybe a Viper pick that hasn't been, set in stone just yet. But other than that, we're looking at a very classic matchup over here of agents taking on each other. And of course, Haven, very much known for being an expansive map with a lot of corners, a lot of hiding spots, a lot of places where Omen smokes can definitely get a lot of area of control. Cypher can get a lot of intel out from just hiding a couple of sneaky tripwires and cams all over the place. And of course, Jet's movement remains unparalleled in all of Valorant. I think to this day, I think that's not necessarily a contested opinion, given that from what I have seen, she is still considered one of the best operators in the game. The Viper pick is what I'm really interested in. Oh, no, we might not actually be getting a Viper. We might get a Yoru, as the timer has gone down to 0. And folks, let's not waste your time any longer. We are going straight into Haven. ROG versus RTN.
Yep, ROG versus RTN. May the best team win and may the best team proceed into the next phase of Clash of Champions, hosted by Team Pointout. So once again, shout out for them as also shout out for the entire broadcast admins for making sure that the event goes out well. Sure, we had some minor hiccups, but not to worry, folks. The game will resume, and and hopefully we shouldn't have any more delays because the fun is about to begin. And let's not forget, we all know who ROG Academy is. We also have a lot of very well-known players who are currently on the defensive side. And when it comes to the side of Team RTN, I could say that this could be their first debut match up against ROG, so I wish them the best of luck. And let's just see how well Haven fares for them, Jack.
I mean, given the fact that this could very well be RTN's first time facing up against ROG Academy, one could even say that this is a kind of a David versus Goliath type of situation. However, the time will tell which side will win.
Caution,
here comes the earthquake, the Omen. Smokes are in along with the shock darts. Yoru trying to get an early kill here. Not going to quite get the pick. Shots have been fired, but it's actually kind of a quiet start, all things considered. Only a little bit of health being taken off the defending Sova right about now. 3 attackers stacked up here in the hallway, going into sight, and there's the first kill with Zorodono. The first one, but only to get retaken immediately by Lavish. The first picks are on the board.
Yeah, information's always crucial here. So with ROG knowing exactly where the side push is going on to, they have the information, they have the kills. So are the really good flashes coming in from ROG, and the cleanup will be delivered from the side of Sova, which leads to Scatter all by himself. All the way towards the long side of A-Long, and he will be taken out by none other than Caramel himself. So let's take a look at the replay once again, and let's not forget it was Caramel who definitely helped the side of ROG with the help of that perfect use of the flash, the aftershock, being able to provide with those important kills that Max was able to deliver, those 2 important kills, which was necessary to win the first round for Clash of Champions.
Absolutely. A lot of intel being taken from, the Breach, the Sova, and the Cypher, to a certain extent, of course. But yeah, Breach's slows, always so good to have on Haven, along with those shock darts, the information darts. And here we go again. One tap off. Another line of smoke. Reach and the one tap. Well, actually, 3 taps. Speaking Lavish going ham on that pistol right now. Double position gets 2. Oh no! Caught on the reload. Couldn't get another. We need to see that on the replay, folks. That was quite the round. That went by so quickly. But what an entry here from the Omen, One Tap God and Lavish. Both of them really taking RTN by the scruff of the neck and saying, this is not your round. But oh, Scatter. The getting caught on the reload there just feels so bad. I know that for a fact. But man, that double kill must have felt so good. Like, look at that. Pop, pop, pop. Ah, so cool.
Yep. And this is why, folks, you never underestimate a classic alt fire. It's very deadly on long range, but when it comes to those shots from the Flame, the shots from the Guardians look supreme. But eventually he will get traded out in the process, all the way from a shot, which leads to some minor information. Flashes are on point, but unfortunately it will be Nova with a weapon upgrade that would help him secure those important frags. ROG currently in a state of bother. Since this is their bonus round, they have to focus on getting those weapon upgrades. And currently they don't have any information on Vara's whereabouts, so Karamel will have some minor issues, because that is a double holdout. Vara is going to be really careful. His locations are revealed. Caramel gets a shot and a perfect smoke so that Caramel can get away safely. Would you look at that?
Wonderful coordination from ROG Academy right about now, especially between the Omen, excuse me, especially with the Omen right there. Emo on the other hand pushing up along with the Silver. Got the spike. Here comes the flash, and Lavish can't see. He has to back away and does so really well. Sets up just to give himself room.
30 seconds left.
Quite take advantage of it. Caramel getting one.
Spike down B. One enemy
Spike
remaining.
denied through the smoke. Getting another one, and now it's all down to the 1v2. The end Cypher caught.
Last player standing.
Situation. Zoro manages to get One Tap God. Goes immediately for the spike. The Breach going the long way around for a potential flank, but they might actually end up running into each other. Not quite. The Cypher, Zoro looking away, standing behind the wall in B. And Caramel will be able to sneak right on by, going through gates out into the front. Which way are you going to enter from? From the main doors? Looks like it. And this 1v1 has got to happen sooner or later. Caramel has to step up the pace. Gotta find the Cypher. Gotta take him out. He's right. Decides to go for a concuss. That might have just given away his position. Here comes the Vandal from behind, and Zoro will take the clutch. Let's have a look at that in the instant replay, folks. This, oh man, that Cypher play nearly worked out for Lavish. There would have been a huge denial, but at the end of the day, the spike has been denied. Excuse me, the spike has been planted and detonated, and RTN will take their first round.
And let's not forget, both of them were actually concussed from the fault line that Caramel already placed in towards the B side, which means that they were already concussed, and somehow Dono, he was the one who did ended up getting that important headshot to ensure that the site will be theirs. This time, taking a look at round number 4, you can clearly see that RTN is going to play this very passively. They know that the aggressive plays from ROG is going to put them in a major hassle, so it's going to play it safe. They're going to play for picks, see whether if they can find some information regarding towards this. Smokes will be given, so is the information. The tripwire will be triggered thanks to the owl drone, and the information being given easily will help Scatter secure that wall bang to take out Lavish.
So the Cypher drone and almost a double kill for One Tap God, for Nova, but One Tap God firing back immediately. Scatter finding Max in the meanwhile, pushing it to a 4v2. ROG finding themselves in a bit of a sticky situation this time around, as Vara now on the long is trying to get something going here. Scatter coming around the back. This could be huge. Caramel
Last player standing.
of the nearby operator. Vara will take an easy kill at that, and now 1v4. What could potentially be a massive
30 seconds
clutch
left
right now for the Jet on ROG side.
Spike planted.
To happen if they want to continue having the lead here. LaFlame, arguably one of the better players that in this team we've seen so far, could potentially make a huge mark on the round. The spike has been planted, mind you, and the Sova has the ult ready. You can see the shining icon. The first shots have been fired. LaFlame's position has been given away.
The only option though for LaFlame is to try to get some exit frags or two and then just, back off to safety. Make sure to secure the weapons and live to fight for another round. I believe that's exactly what's going to happen. LaFlame was trying to get those exit frags, see whether if he can take out a player or two so that they could try to damage the economy coming in from RTN's side. But taking a look at the round itself, score count's been equalized here, Jack. It's 2-2. Let's not forget, the ultimate from Caramel is ready, so is Nova's Hunter's Fury. So it really depends on whether if Nova can catch out the information being gained from the recon dart or from the owl drone that can provide them with some information and just lock in on Hunter's Fury, or he could try to use it for post plant. But in order for post plant to happen, they need to ensure that their execute needs to be precise.
Absolutely, they need to get in there and get the they want to use that for post plant. Here we go, the flame smoke dash straight in. Does get flashed a little bit, but aggressively doesn't see scatter, and that's going to be the first pick. The Jet is down and out. Unfortunately, surviving to fight another day didn't quite work out in this. Goes through the Cypher Tripwire on to C long, where One Tap God is waiting right here with the revolver. Just one shot, or a couple of shots is all it'll take. Meanwhile, down Caramel. Oh, there's one. Will they get the second? No, they don't. Gets a refragged instead.
Last player standing.
Mara. An attempt was made by Max with the pistol once again, but not quite gonna pay any dividends. Zoro taking a second kill. And Lavish caught now.
Spike planted.
Similar to LaFlame from the last round. This time, of course, it is round 4 ROG. Nemo, make sure to finish it off for the team.
And with Lavish being removed out of the equation, I could clearly say that his ultimate is also available to use. Neural Theft, a very powerful ability that could be helpful for the side of ROG to determine players' location, and so is Caramel's ultimate, which makes it even much more deadly once all 4 players' locations are revealed. But in order for that to happen, they need to secure their goal, which means that we might see some aggressive playstyles coming from their end, or maybe not. They'll just play it defensively. They know that they've tried their aggressive methods in the previous round, which was their eco round. So with a really good weapon in their hands, I believe that they're going to play it safe. They're just going to let the attackers do their work, get the information, and from those information, they'll try to convert those into kills.
Absolutely. It is all a game of utility right about now, as this round, the 6th round specifically, has started off kind of quietly. We did see Emo trying to push up, but had to teleport back using Yoru's abilities.
Time to jump.
A second. Sets up another piece of util right here, just close to spawn. But no picks, no damage. Going into doors here might actually end up in a bit of a situation. There comes the smoke.
That's not ready.
Knows what's happening. So sets up potentially a concussor. Doesn't go through with it once again. Holding back on their utility. They know for a fact that if they use up too much right now, they won't have enough for a potential post plant.
Tripwire is located. 30 seconds left.
Lavish on the overhang here, gets scattered. That's a huge kill right about now. Taking care of one. There goes Nova. The Sova is down. There's another. It's flashed. Max can't quite get another one.
One enemy remaining.
Dead. But this jet is all down, or was down, to Vara. Lavish finishes it off. What a chaotic round indeed between the two.
Let's bring it
After
back.
that silent start, but you know what they say, that was the calm before the storm that we can see on the instant replay.
The calm before the storm, and it's so silent. I do have to agree with you, Jack, because it was so silent that not a single ultimate was being used. Not a single ult was used. It was just a simple smoke to block off line of sights. Not even flashes were being used from breach. I believe it was used to try to block off the sight towards the A. But other than that, I believe this round is where the storm would appear closely into their destination.
It could. It very much could. As One Tap God takes out, I believe, one of those cameras from Cypher. Good shout on that initial piece of utility. As in the meanwhile, C Long is where we have a little bit of a cross potential being set up. I do see two operators here, two agents, I mean. And there's only the Omen on C. If they manage to get him, which they do, scatter with the pick.
Off your feet!
Actually have entry into C, and they're already set up. As you can see, we've got smokes coming in. We've got the Yoru already in the site.
I know exactly where.
A spike coming in. Here comes the Sova ult as well. Shooting the shots. Not taking to get a kick out of that. Given away. Here we go. The fights are happening. Nova with the double. Var and Emo going down on the other side as Matt takes a couple picks back. Here
30
comes
seconds
Carol
left.
with concusses, with flashes, trying to gain some sort of entry ground. But the spike hasn't actually been planted just yet. Looks like they were forced off it, and now they're going to have to regroup, potentially heading all the way to the A-bomb site.
Yeah, from the shadows was so good. They just need 4 seconds to
10
go in for the
seconds
plant,
left.
in which it will happen. Man count disadvantage for ROG.
Take
3 to 3. Utilities has
One
already been
enemy
used.
remaining.
So are the ultimates, which leads to Caramel. Left in a 1v3. Concussions, informations will be given away. So is the Spike-Arm dart, but somehow he gets away with the kill. But his position is revealed, making it much more difficult. Nova still has the Hunter Spirit. He could use it to deny post-plant. He just wants to make sure that he could use it in the next round instead. So you have the cross. The cross has been established. Nova's location's revealed. Caramel, he needs to get away at the right time, in which he won't. And Scatter will make sure to get the kill as well, providing RTN the lead that they need, 4 to 3.
4 to 3. Looking at it from the perspective of the early couple of rounds here, definitely a very different RTN we're seeing compared to rounds 1 and 2. They were a little bit unsure, a little bit, wobbly on their feet, as they say, just to start the game. But now they have read into ROG Academy, and they are definitely giving it their all right about now. Once again, as you can see, the utility setup is all there. On the other side, ROG is a little bit hurting in terms of economy, but they are trying to get themselves, in a bit of a better situation. Oh, here we go. LaFlame with the jet ult ready, with the knives on hand. This could be huge, depending on how you look at it. The first pick has happened. The Cypher has gone down. And here's the first one. LaFlame with one. LaFlame
One
with two.
enemy remaining.
Potentially 3. Yes, it is.
Spike down
That
A.
is definitely going in the instant replay, folks. But right now, yet potentially 4. That is for a flawless for the side of ROG. And what a play by the Jet. Fantastic use of the ultimate here. And man, it was pick after pick right here outside of the A-bomb.
The flame burns bright for ROG, giving them once again the equalizer, 4 to 4. As RTN once again let's not forget, it was a broken buy from ROG. And LaFlame being able to use the Blade Storm to its full extent, being able to recover back the economy that they've lost. They are now prepped and ready to fight once again. Vara, a very expensive teleport in which he will reach to that certain destination, but also the aggressiveness will never stop. Emo, using the power of his ultimate, will use his just to get one. So is the important shot from Nova, clearing out the entirety sides from A, as another kill will be delivered, forcing ROG on a 2v5, a very, very crucial round, which is required for...
Absolutely, that push in the A-bomb side, so well done. Once again, really well coordinated, matching ROG's kind of energy and aggression coming out of that part. Now pushing in to the entry hallway here. Unfortunately, position given away by the recon dart, the drone, the shots that have been fired, but that actually allows Lavish to use it as a distraction, pushing up to the overhang, but cannot, unfortunately, do much with it, as the enemy Omen smoke will smoke out the rat, as they say. And with the spike already on the ground and getting closer and closer to detonation, a potentially good idea would be to just fall back and hide and save these weapons. Save the economy if you can. Ooh, Zoro some would say might have even had the advantage there with that positioning. Unfortunately, goes down in the end, allowing
Wait until I
God
blind
to
them
get a
to
little
strike.
bit of a leg up in terms of economy. But mind you, that still means RTN with that spike round are back in the lead, 5-4.
You know, I could say that One Tap God basically used Zoro's own ability. That's basically zigzagging his way out of a situation. So you know, it basically marks as Z. But anyways, it's just it was just a joke that I wanted to crack. Didn't quite work out well. But either ways, RTN still on the lead, 5-4. And right now, I can clearly say that ROG might have massive issues coming in from their end. Looking at the entire B side not being, you know, held out, which
Here.
means that Karamel is the only one holding on towards B. So once this information is being given, it will be very much tougher. But looks like the strategy from ROG is pretty much interesting here. All three of the players have decided to go in for this flank, and if this flank ends up being into fruition, then it could look a very good situation coming in from ROG's end.
It very well could, and mind you, LaFlame is playing a very aggressive position here, right by the A entry. It's a little bit, it is definitely interesting because these positions are very forward, very aggro, some might even say. Getting far in the meanwhile, it's an Omen violence as the entry comes in. Emo just pushes LaFlame with zero hesitation, getting that pick. Pushing into now clear A bomb site. Here you go. Sasha's going out, concusses as well, and Nova actually gets
Spike
Caramel,
planted.
putting it down to a 4v3. Strike on the floor. Nova finds one tap god.
Standing ahead.
A very quick shot. And now with the recon bolt in, that gets one pulse of information for Max. Unfortunately, that might have
Last
also been
player standing.
here on the overhang, and there we go. Scatter and Nova, they had the sights set up, and they were not about to let ROG have any potential clapbacks. 6-4 as RTN solidifying their lead, and as we approach the half.
Only 2 more rounds left for ROG to ensure that they could end the first half on a 6-6, or maybe we could see RTN end the first half on an 8-4. Ending the first half on an 8-4 would definitely be a good way to end the first half, knowing that this is singular limbs. RTN would definitely wants to make sure that they would get this win. And clearly looking at the way how RTN is playing as of now, once again, you always have the Sentinel playing all the way from the backside, because they know that at least there will be one or more than one of the players from ROG who would come in towards the flank. So even with the abilities not working out, wait a minute, Yoru, he could be in a minor trouble, but no, he'll fall back to safety as of now. He should be fine. The traps are also present, so it would immediately give away their positionings. But
Spike
focusing
down
on towards
A.
the A side, massive damage has been dealt from both the sides. And with the smokes being able to deal some good damage, but somehow LaFlame will manage to extinguish the flames into the hearts of their enemies. 4-6, and when it comes to the man count, it's 2-3 favoring for ROG.
RG playing a little bit more reserved in this round. You can see they weren't quite as far ahead in their positioning, quite as aggressive as they were in the last round, and some would say that that has actually paid them a lot more dividend. Now, 3v2 situation.
30
One tap
seconds
got
left.
A little bit frantic. They are looking around all over the place. Excuse me. Position.
Spike
Giving away.
planted.
Zoro taking the kill. The spike planted.
Last player standing.
Here comes Caramel. Oh no, the lineup accidentally. That
Last round
is,
before the
what
switch.
we would call a collateral, folks. As LaFlame happened to dash in just as Caramel got to the corner position, and Scatter was more than happy to pick up that double, allowing RTN a 7-4, which of course means now that we're last round from the half, ROG cannot equalize before going on to the attacking half of Haven over here. And that, folks, is possibly going to be a big deciding factor. But mind you, more rounds to go. This could be a 7-5.
My ult's ready.
Yep. And it looks like LaFlame once again start things off with the initial pick, this time taking out the Yoru. Important duelist out in the game, which makes it much more difficult for RTN to head in with those important executes. But looks like LaFlame has something else to say from his end. Guardians out, 30 HP. Both the Owl drones detecting every single information, and here comes trouble. LaFlame extinguished once again from Nova, somehow alive and kicking even while being concussed. But the damage is mid-later round. Caramel and Lavish, both of them are still present from the backside, but they don't have information on both of these players' locations. Scatter and Dono, both of them are in very good positions, but they don't have information on the rest of the two players. Well, now they do know one of them. 1v2, Neural Theft immediately gives away Scatter's position. Still have the information. It is the end of the first half, and looks like it will come to an end on 5-7. And I could say it could be a dashing first half coming in from the side of RTN.
7 and 5. RTN definitely have a good reason to be happy about that first half, folks. As you could even say that they definitely played their hearts out, so to speak. Nova and Scatter currently leading in terms of kills, 12 and 11 each. In the meanwhile, Caramel, the only one to crack double digits on the side of ROG. Mind you, of course, kills aren't the only thing that matter in Valorant. It is a very utility-heavy game with all of these abilities, smokes and flashes and stuns and concusses, recon drones and recon darts and owl drones and dashes and so many different things that actually contribute to every single round. Now we'll see the second half coming in. Vara, shadows traveling. A little bit chicken right there with the nice movement. From the flashes, all the flashes. As Zora gets the first pick. On the flame, pushed up a little bit too aggressively right there. All this set up by the Cypher, and Zoro firing through all the smokes, forcing the push from C-Long from ROG to fall back, as their initial push, unfortunately, hasn't quite worked out. They're reconvening, repositioning, trying to potentially go into A, but there they are going to be met by Nova and Emo holding the ramp entryway.
Oh boy, with Jet being out of the equation already in the pistol round, this makes it much tougher for ROG to go in for this execute all the way towards A. Here comes the smoke, the concussions from the other side, but there is an important line of sight that's currently present from both Emo and Scatter. So, Shreesh to Caramel once again, classic in hand. 2 headshot should suffice, will secure one, but not the other. And that will give RTN a pistol round win in the second half of the series.
Launch money.
And that's a very good win to have as well. First round of the second half in this match. A complete opposite of how the match itself started. The pistol round going towards ROG, who in this round could potentially opt to buy out a little bit more, but looks like they're going to stay on the pistols. A couple of revolvers being taken, which means that they are going on the utility side of things, saving their credits potentially as well. And I do see a secondary shotgun taken from LaFlame over there. Meanwhile, RTN all full of SMGs. New allocations given away. LaFlame really going in. And of course, that is to be expected of the Jet. You've got all that movement, you've got those abilities, might as well use them to their full potential. Oh my god. Within the smoke, unfortunately, doesn't know that Emo is right there. Taken down. And that's your first pick.
Yeah, weapon upgrades is going to be a pain for ROG. Knowing that they only have knowing that they only have classics and sheriffs to go through, which makes it much more difficult. Once again, Nova going in with the simple jump peek to provide with some information. Scatter once again finds 3 players, secures 1. Here comes the protection from Nova, and just like that, RTN shouldn't have any problems dealing with the rest of the players. Though even with the shorty playing in close range, somehow it doesn't secure the kill, but Caramel's right click does. 5 bullets still remains, and somehow forced for a reload. Caramel tries to pick up the weapon towards the Spectre, but I mean, at the time he tried to pick up that weapon, he did get picked out. And RTN once again a lead, which is necessary to put themselves back up on the lead. 9-5. Timeout will be requested for ROG because this is their bonus round. They need to make sure that they get this round right. If not, then you know what's going to happen, right, Jack?
Well, they need to use this timeout. I do know what's going to happen, Baba. Thank you for putting it out in that way. But yes, indeed, folks. This timeout is extremely necessary for ROG as they are now getting closer and closer to potentially losing out on this quarterfinals game. And let me remind our audience, this is a single elimination bracket in the quarterfinals here at the excuse me, Clash of Champions, hosted by Point Out. So that of course means that if you lose, you are out of the running, out of the league, as they say. You cannot get a retry. And of course, we've grown so used to double bracket and lower bracket elimination matches in a recent memory that a single elim feels sufficiently high stakes right about now. As in the meanwhile, ROG's timeout has ended. They took the 1 minute break and they are loaded in. Their bonus round, they've gone all in with all the vandals that you could ask for. RTN playing a little bit more conservatively, still saving their credits for future utility rounds and, of course, abilities. Mostly the Spectres. And I think one suppressed pistol on their side. So once again, playing a little bit on the conservative side. ROG pushing up. They want to go into C, and the defenses on C, they might be lacking, but let's not give them less credit here. Zoro in the smoke, within the Cypher wall. The flame taking one. This could be huge. No, He gets tapped out of his mind by One Tap God. And that immediately puts it into a 4v3 situation. ROG with a huge lead right about now. And then now RTN forced into the post plant. What will these two players do?
In the other, I would say that they have no other choice but to fight and see whether they can get an opening pick. And for Nova, his location was already revealed from the cams that Cypher had placed, which means that Nova has no other choice but to go in for exit frags. Using with his certain abilities, he would be able to try to get a kill or two, maybe get a weapon upgrade of his own, and see whether if he could live to fight another day. But I believe that's not exactly what is going to happen, because for ROG they need to make sure that they get out of the blast radius and ensure that they'll be able to use their weapons. But either ways, ROG, that timeout will definitely serve them a really good value, as they'll be able to win their attack round in this round, in the second half.
A much needed win for ROG, as they were losing momentum and losing it fast coming into the second half here. So a good round for them, definitely very much needed. And as you can see, folks, on the defense side of things, RTN, they're going for the buyout. They need all of their guns ablaze, even with the operator coming out from Emo, as on the other side, LaFlame once again ready for the push, going into the long entry of A alongside the Omen. But a little bit more of a quieter push from ROG. They know that RTN are probably expecting something, super aggressive, super flashy, so they've chosen to go for a split push right about
drone
now. Nova on the drone, trying to get a little bit of it, and we'll be able to see the Cypher and potentially one more on the corner of their screen. But the other owl drone comes in from Max, pushing through the Omen smoke, and that should have potentially seen the enemy Sova, but not quite. Really pushing up. Cover going out. Takes out the tripwire, but unfortunately for Vara, the kill will not be theirs. Lavish and One Tap God starting off strong.
Oh boy, they have no idea of Dono's location, and this could be so valuable. 3 kills for Dono. That's more than enough. Information of spikes being given, but the location from RTN is nowhere near the spike, because they don't have information on the rest of the 2 players. Time is ticking though for ROG, so they need to pick up the spike. And I believe that a post plant will be in effect. But it will give much more opportunity for RTN to steal this round away, which could be a major upset if it does happen. Scatter playing it very close. Fault line is still present. He should wait for his teammate, and I believe he's going to do exactly that. Recon for info. Nova, does he have information to tell the players? He does. He finds one. Immediate trade's been given, which means lavish information is given. Now, for Scatter, the fault line is still active, but he doesn't know that Lavish is all the way towards the top. He gets away with a kill, and with that, ROG yet another win coming in from there, and with almost a steal coming in from the side of RTN.
That really was almost a really, excuse me right there, I said really twice. But you get what I'm saying. That was almost a fantastic side retake there from the side of RTN, especially Zoro, who will probably be feeling gutted after that triple kill, hiding in the corner against all of that utility and taking out so many, denying the spike plant as well. However, not
Shadows
be. ROG managing to pull things a little bit closer as the Omen teleports in once again. This time it looks like a much more aggressive push in towards B bomb site. As the dash comes in, Max finds Scatter. That's a huge kill right about now. One tap got forced back onto the overhang. But Zoro's in a bit of a situation between a rock and a hard place. As they found, but Flame goes down, not able to get that kill. The position's revealed, but Zoro gets caught trying to set up a potential cover position. 3v4. The spike is already on the floor, mind you.
One enemy remaining.
Avish gets one. Nova gets a return, but Emo goes down on the other side. Nova now the only one, and caught by two attackers. Now the remaining three. ROG are closer than ever to equalizing 8 to 9 down. They need one round.
I have to say that was a really good execute though coming in from ROG's end. From the shadows with the smoke to provide him some really good cover. One tap God, he just made sure that the rotates would be blocked, and he did exactly that. Beautiful execution though coming in from ROG, and especially in this round, you know, you still have the Hunter's Fury, you also have the outfit that's present from the breach, which makes it much more difficult for RTN to bring this back, but an op shot from Emo securing out Lavish will definitely put things to a halt from ROG's end for now.
That was a really good shot right there to start things off, and especially taking Cypher out so early means that that's
Off your feet!
from the side of the attack. Here comes
Taken out.
One enemy remaining.
But that's not quite gonna work out. Nova with two and goes down to one tap God, but Scatter immediately taking back that kill, putting Max in a little bit of a sticky situation. 1v4 and gets caught by Scatter on the overhang. Let's have a look at that one more time on the instant replay, folks. Just sitting on the right corner, waiting. Fantastic discipline right there from Nova to just get those two huge picks right off the bat. And even with the kill coming in from the attacking Omen, it wasn't quite enough for ROG, who now unfortunately lose a little bit of that momentum that they were carrying. Meanwhile, a timeout has been called from the side of RTN. They are 10-8, but this is a good time to call that timeout. They got a little bit of the momentum back. They stole it away from the side of ROG, and they are in the lead. So if there's ever a time to make sure you know what you're doing, to reconsolidate strategies and to reconvene with their team, and to give yourselves just that little extra minute to breathe, it is now.
Yep. And let's not forget that's two timeouts, Jack, coming in from ROG's end. Not from the other side. Two timeouts, both of them that's currently present in the second half, which clearly shows that the pressure is on for ROG. Makes it think whether if they want to go in for an aggressive attempt to go with the usual stuff, or maybe try to play it for time. And I mean, right now, I can clearly see that ROG is going to play it safe as of now. Hunter's Fury is present, and I believe they would have one more orb in which LaFlame could secure a Blade Storm, which will be helpful for Eco round, mind you. Emo, wait a minute, okay. Really good opportunity to secure that first initial pick, but it's not going to happen. The Hunter's Fury was trying to catch out the player of Emo, but turns out LaFlame's aggressiveness will come to an end. 4v5, ROG just lost their opener, the duelist, which was heavily necessary to head in for those executes, but they have no other choice. They have to push, they have to retaliate. It looks like that retaliation could come in at a hefty price, because one tap God, he's the one who's making those plays work. Post-blood, ROG, can they do this?
Things together. Scatter comes in with Flash and becomes us. They do
know exactly
the idea of where Max is, and there we go. That's a kill, but Lavish takes down Vara in the meanwhile. Positions given away with a dart, potentially speaking. Enemy position has been...
One enemy remaining.
Goes away his position, but no! On Tap God has the cross. Unfortunately, both defenders pushed in from the same... Unfortunately, from the same corner at the same time, giving away what could have potentially been a post-plant success, but not quite. And as you can see right here, well positioned as well from Lavish, and the information given away. And once your position is known, well, there's not much you can really do to stop the oncoming train of bullets. 10 and 9. ROG once again
Get out of
very
my
close
way.
to
Standing ahead.
equalizing as we move into the 20th round.
Boiler Flame might find the opening immediately right here, though. Taking out Emo could help them in securing the first kill, but turns out it's just a fake. I mean, usually we just try to make sure that the defenders could get jumpy on certain situations, and that could end up in a major downfall, thinking that maybe they might head in towards an entire B side. Now the whole B side is cleared, post-plant is present, ROG once again taking things under control.
Absolutely, LaFlame really getting itchy with this smoke. You can see in their movements. Pushing out a little bit too far, exposing a little bit too much of their arm, goes down to Lavish, but Lavish gets retaken by Nova. Once I've got taken down Nova, got a game of refrags here. Nova with one, but goes down to LaFlame. Here comes the Jet ult. This could potentially be
one enemy remaining.
Push in, one left, and that's Zoro. Excuse me, that's Emo to go down to one tap God. LaFlame pushing in, giving the team the opening required to make sure that there is no post-plan defuse. The equalizer has happened, folks. It is 10 and 10 as we move into the 21st round. Oh boy, this game just got a whole lot more exciting.
Yes, indeed, Jack, and even more troubles for RTN because they are forced on an eco round. So they will be forced on some shorties, some marshals. Hopefully those headshots from Nova should be able to get an opening pick or two, but ROG also knows that their weapon is broken, so they have no other problems going in for an aggressive plays here. LaFlame once again dashes and flashes away, securing the first and the second. Third goes Vara, and just like that, ROG control on towards the C side.
Spike planted.
Trouble in paradise for RTN.
Trouble in paradise indeed, as it looks like the defense half was not going nearly as good as the opening attack.
Revealing area.
RTN. Mind you, they were 7 and 5 and now 10 and 10. Not quite the position they probably wanted themselves to be in, and now in the 2v5
Cutting through.
as well. Not exactly
Last player standing.
to be in, and there we go, the double vandal finisher from LaFlame and Lavish, putting the L's in the round and taking the lead for ROG at the same time. 11 and 10. They have taken back the lead, folks. And mind you, this is the first lead they have had since all the way in round number 9. That's right. The last time that ROG had a lead in this match was back in round 9. We are now in the 22nd round. It has been a long time coming, but they have more than earned it. The question is, can they hold?
I mean, they have to, Jack. They have no other choice. I mean, if they lose this round, once again, they would have a lot of economy problems. And one tap God using the power of From the Shadows will immediately get access towards the A side, which brings RTN on a much more problematic situations coming here on the A side. Forces on a post plant from the Shadows from RTN's side. The flanks will be present very quickly, providing them with some important informations. But they have to get this win, and looks like Vara will find one. There goes one of the players coming in from ROG's end. Now it's 4-4. All they have to do is just ensure all the utilities are timed right. Aftershock will deny a lot of time. Here comes the push. RTN, you need to get this shot. You need to get this win. But Max and LaFlame, they still hold on. They still hold on to the side, and so does Max all the way from the backside, providing match point at Clash of Champions, 12-10.
Oh, we definitely see that in the instant replay once again. Very well attempted bait right there from the Yoru, trying to give themselves and Cypher a way in. Unfortunately, it was just not going to work. Emo, no matter how hard they tried, couldn't quite get the entryway. They did the decoys, they did the flash, they even set up an anchor to teleport to. It just wasn't enough. And that now finds us at a 12 and 10 ROG on match point. Zara setting up smokes on an upward position right about now, very high up. Position is not given away as well. This could be huge if they do decide to go C, and there are a couple on C-line. Shots are fired. Here comes the concussed. Vara holding strong as Emo finds the first one. Lavish goes and finds Nova on the other side. There goes Zoro as well. You can't afford to lose too many bodies here.
I know exactly where you
gotta
are.
pull back if you are unsure of the competition. Here goes Silva ult potentially. Meanwhile,
planted.
Emo pushes in with the ult, but no! Unfortunate moment to
Last
miss
player
right there.
standing.
Scatter finds one, but goes down to Caramel, and it's all down to the Vara. The last on the overhang. We'll find him.
Attackers win.
And that is ROG Academy taking the win 13 to 10. Extremely well played by RTN. They gave it their all, folks, and let's have a big round of applause for them. But as we can see in the instant replay, ROG Academy simply were too good, and they will take the win. Moving on to the semifinals.
Yep, congratulations to ROG as they will proceed into the next phase of Clash of Champions. I believe that they will be in the semifinals matchup, which will... I believe they will go up against Fambra, who just won their matchup against Team Catalyst. So I believe the matchup that we were supposed to have, which was up against Team Nonchalant versus BABAM, Nonchalant have secured that matchup, and that team will head in towards the semi-finals, but they still have to wait to see which team will it be that they will head in towards the semi-finals. Will it be up against Team Zenith, or will it be up against Team Galacticos? But all in all, ROG, congratulations to them. They have secured their spot at the grand finals, but for the next match, folks, we'll be taking a short little break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Y'all sit back and watch me speak. About to take over your screen. Talking bulls in 93. Talking mom, I'm on TV. Y'all know all I do is me. All I do is me. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and all I know, my money green. About to snap and make a scene. My cup off and make this free. My cup off and make them scream. Go back off for TMZ. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Money long, nothing on credit. I got style, don't catch no feelings. All this bread ain't got no lettuce. I got style, don't catch no feelings. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, if it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, watch me. Sit back and watch. Watch me. Sit back. Sit back. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back.
Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Clash of Champions, hosted here by Point Out. And of course, folks, we are back once again for the quarterfinals. We are going to right now be going into what I think is actually the last quarterfinals match of the night. We have had a couple of technical difficulties, so we weren't able to show all of them, but we did, of course, just have the ROG versus RTN game. That was a very, very close match indeed. That ended up in favor of ROG, excuse me, and now we are going into Galactius versus Zenith. And the map bans have been done, as you can see on your screens, folks. It is Icebox that we are going to. Baba Gusta, how do we feel seeing Icebox after so long?
Well, I mean, at first I have to say brace for impact because winter is coming because it's Icebox. So going up against Galacticos versus Zenith, I am quite curious to know how Icebox would work. Of course, when it comes to the agent picks, I would pretty much expect to see a Viper pick being made, especially on Icebox, because there's a lot of long range angles where it's basically it's an operator haven coming in from both the sides. So there's a lot of long range fights. So you might expect to see a lot of Marshal picks, Outlaw picks, Guardians, not a lot of Phantoms. Sure, Phantoms could be helpful if you're playing on close range or maybe around at the range of 10 to 15 meters. But I mean, of course, Vandal will reign supreme, especially on those long range headshots. So Icebox, it's been a while since I've casted a match on Icebox because most of the matches that I have seen around is either Ascent, Lotus, or Sunset most of the time. Actually, not on Sunset, it's just Split. Split is what I was trying to say, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, Split is definitely a very commonly picked map, but today we are going to Icebox, folks, and we're going to be loading in right about in just a quick minute. And there we go. The operators, agents have been picked, and we've got a couple of interesting picks over here. The KO from the side of Galacticos, who are on the attack, mind you. And on the side of a defense, that is, of course, one of Valorant's newer operators, so to speak. Agents, I keep saying operators, but that is ISO, one of the newer duelists that the game has introduced in recent memory. And of course, ISO, very interesting character in their own right, as you know, their contingency, the primary wall of fire that they can push with, allowing them to control areas and zones. And of course, you have their molecular bolt to make enemies vulnerable and suppress them as well. So pretty good kit overall. We'll expand on that a little bit more as we have Yuzi over here dashing away from the first engagement. A couple of pot shots over here. Mighty trying to push up. Spire takes the first kill. Here comes Mighty. There goes the Spire. That is immediately 3 picks, and Galacticos find themselves on the back foot.
Last player standing.
Zen moment from the side of the defenders, and for Galaxy, a lot of pressure going in on the hands of Vipers. Flawless round. Team Zenith secures their first pistol round, and also I do have to agree the fact that ISO. I mean, it's in the name itself. He isolates 1v1 gunfights, especially with the shield, which could help him tank at least one of those shots, be it an operator shot, be it an explosion, or any utilities that deals damage. ISO can basically, negates it, and which makes it even much more powerful for an ISO because he could just easily peek without, relying on other teammates to go in for those flashes. But having a shield is still a plus point, so they have to make sure that, especially when you're going up against an ISO main, they have to play accordingly with a simple cross angles to make sure that they'll be able to get the kill, even if they do get traded out in the process. Second round, on the other hand, let's not forget it is Team Zenith who have secured the first pistol round, which means that the Spectre's upgrade should be in their hands, but they have no information on Bumbo's location. One kill will be made, plant not being secured, Viper gets another one. Zenith, once again, they're the ones in trouble now, Jack.
Spike planted.
They are. Spike on the ground. Galactius.
One enemy
Here
remaining.
comes the shield. And that's where ISO is so good. As that double kill definitely helping take those engagements. And all the attackers actually are down for the count. So Zenith will be able to get the defuse on the spike, which means this three-player defense, or at least the three remaining players on the defense, were able to get the retake on the site, allowing themselves a 2-0 very quickly up on Icebox over here. And of course that means a lot of credits to spend, and we can see a couple of very interesting buys over there. I do see a couple of marksman rifles and a couple of pistols as well, so it might be more along the lines of a half buy. It's not a full buy right yet, as a lot of credits are definitely stored up on that defending team. On the other side, Galacticos, they're going all in. It's a Vandal round for them.
Deploying
Question
drones.
is, will they be able to make it?
Yep. For Zen, I'm pretty sure that their main focus is to win their bonus round, because the more economy is booming, the more rounds that they'll be able to win without facing any major issues. But for Galactica, they need to ensure that they would get those kills as best as possible. That's why you see 2 Guardians being used on the second round. No Spectre, no Stinger, no Bulldogs. 2 Guardians, which is very powerful, especially on post plant. All they have to do is just figure out a way to get those important frags in long range. This is exactly where Sova is, in towards the B side. He's patiently waiting for the attackers to make their play, but they're playing it very patiently. They have to wait to hear for the spike noises, and once they do, then and only then would they head in for those peaks. Here comes the response from the defender Zenith. They've lost the ISO. XZOR has got to be really careful for the shot, as neither of those shots really hit its mark. But a lot of damage has been dealt around. The Outlaw definitely won't be able to secure those shots, which forces Bumbo to get back. And hopefully, since they've secured at least 1 or 2 kills, that they will back off and secure a kill or 2. He might be able to get away with another exit frags, in which he does. Really great, vital, valuable round coming in from the side of Team Zenith. Even though that they have lost the round, the amount of economy damage that they have dealt from Galactica is massive here, Jack.
That is huge indeed. Galactica will be hurting a little bit, not quite getting the economic gains that they were hoping to. Bumbo really put the tariffs on them right there, as Zenith will move into a 2-1. They're still in the lead, mind you. And they have, of course, more rounds to make this lead even wider. But how far will Galactica go? What will be the situation now? There's suppression going on, and Bumbo, unfortunately, caught on the way back. Viper goes down. Viper goes down as well as Fire takes the kill. Killjoy coming in with the retake onto Void, and Sova taking down Aspire, putting Zenith once again on the back foot. 2 versus 4 with the spike going
planted.
down on the ground, which means we now find ourselves once again in a potential site retake type of situation. But with only 2 players remaining, Killjoy and Zenith, there's not much you can really get away with. Flash, so can't really
Player
shot from
standing.
behind. The ISO will get isolated, get taken off the board. Location is revealed. Zenichi can't really push anywhere, really. Caught between a rock and a hard place. No shot fire. Takes 1, can't get the second. This time the economy for Galactico will be a lot better as they equalize 2-2.
Yep. 2 and 2. Pretty sure Zenith they will be careful next time, especially in their post plants, to ensure that none of the lurkers would be hanging around in towards the mid side. Hunter's Fury is present for Galactica, so is Kill Contract and Blade Storm coming in from the side of Zenith. So when I talk about isolating 1v1s, Kill Contract will be an important one, because if they can figure out a way to catch at least 1 or 2 players off the act, especially when they're heading in towards the execute, then it is a really important ultimate to have. But do they have any idea of Zenith's whereabouts?
Right,
Because all 3 of them are heading towards a very long flank. Aspire will get one from the Blade Storm. This is a very important frag, which forces Galactica to actually fight alongside with them. Not quite sure if it's a good idea, but somehow Bobo gets a headshot, gets the second with the Bulldog, and looks like this important frag makes it even much more deadlier. Would you look at that, Jack? Zenith, all they did was just push in towards the long side of B, and all Galactica had to do was just push into A. There was no need to contest against the players. If they could have just forced the players on post plant, they would have already had the advantage in the first place, but they decided to challenge them, and because of that challenge, Bumbo ended up getting those 3 kills, and Zenith will end up getting the lead as well, 3-2.
That was a really good round from the side of Zenith, as and Bumbo as well. Those kills coming in with the Bulldog, definitely really appreciated, of course. And on the other hand, they did have, mind you, we did see that long flank coming in from behind, right? But Killjoy, the KJ, did have a turret that was set up on the A entry door. Unfortunately, they weren't quite able to make much use of it, as it was the first thing taken out by the entering defending Zenith. Now, of course, folks, as you can see on the screen, there is a little bit of a technical timeout that was requested, and it has been resolved. Meanwhile, welcome to Bumbo's world, as this Viper has now set up her pit. Mighty finds the first kill of the round, taking down the KJ, and that just puts Galactica in even more foot. They can't really push it to A site through all of that smoke and mirrors and poison, as Uzi tries to do anyway, goes in and gets caught right out. Bumbo with another pick, and that of course means...
Yeah, it will be a difficult spot though. It will be difficult. Suppressor knives could at least help in detecting 2 of the players though. So ISO and Viper, both of the location has been revealed, but the Viper Spirit is still active somehow amidst all of that smokes. So will secure 1. So is Aspire with that headshot. And for Galactica, yet again, they have to lose yet another round with just 1 casualty at this point. It will be just Mighty who will go out. But for Zenith, 4-2, the lead is theirs in the first half.
Placing sentry.
Yep, 9 kills to Bumbo, and I would say for Uzi it's 4, which means that Blade Storm will be active for Galactica. So I'm pretty much guessing that this will be an all-out A site. Yep, I can clearly see that. Aspire also predicts it. He finds the information, tries to head in for the kill. Unfortunately, he won't be able to secure it. Owl drone to detect some information, but Aspire's information isn't revealed yet. Lockdown is present, which would try to force the rest of the defenders to fall back, but Aspire, he doesn't have the dash, which means that he will contest it. And look at the damage, the collateral damage from Aspire. He gets those 2 kills, uses the dash, gets away safely, but he is still detained, which means that post plant will still be in effect, but at the hands of 2 disadvantage coming in from the side of Galactica. So Viper Spit, it's all or nothing for Team Galactica. And knowing the Viper Spit, which makes it much more difficult, all Sova has to do is just find the information on Viper's whereabouts. You take out the Viper, then that means access towards the site shouldn't be much more of a problem. But look at Zoid. Amidst all of those chaos happening around, it's all up to the lone Viper, in which he gets picked out from none other than his nuts and Mrs. Bumbo. 5-2. The lockdown was so good, so was the risk that Aspire had to take in order to secure those kills. He did it. He actually made sure to, get the advantage that he needs. But at that post plant, something happened. In that post plant, a lot of utilities were still at the hands of Team Galactica, so they had at least some things under control, but it was all up to Viper. In that one, we want to try to secure it, but looks like it didn't happen. 5-2, Zenith still in the lead.
Oh boy, okay, had a little bit of an issue right there, folks. Sorry about
Welcome back,
disconnecting
Jack.
midway through a thought, but
Welcome
yes,
back.
indeed, thank you, Baba. 5-2 right now to Zenith as they find themselves pushing further into this lead. Now we move into, of course, the 7th round, folks, and let's just say Galactica need to step up their game. Unfortunately, that might not be the case. KJ goes down as Mighty finds the first kill, isolating that very important operator on iTalk right about now, but Zoid gets one on the attack as well. Easy going down, but Viper with the double, that's huge as well. Zenith and Aspire, those are two very important operators and agents as well, as you have the Sova and you have the Jet. Poison from Bumbo going off, reserving that, the reserves, as you say, of the Viper's poison. It's holding on to them for the right time, as in the meanwhile, Galactica are kind of in the middle of nowhere. They need to figure out where they want to push, which side they want to go to, and it might be the A bomb site. Viper's definitely making their way over and has managed to sneak in successfully, but not quite seen by
30
Bumbo.
seconds left.
And that is Viper on Viper action, taking down one, leaving only 2 remaining for the side of Galactica.
One
KO and
enemy
Sova
remaining.
need to make something of this, but Sova goes down. There goes the KO. Bumbo with the triple in the round. And that puts Zenith one leg up, 6-2.
Yep. A really good recovery coming in from the side of Bumbo. 2 Guardian shots was the most... it was a really good opening, Jack. I'm not gonna lie. The opening from Galactica getting those 2 kills from the Guardian, not only did the Viper get a weapon upgrade from a Guardian to a Vandal, but also they even had the man-card advantage. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened once they pushed in way too deep towards the A side without having any information on players' whereabouts. But looking at the way how Zenith is playing right now, and Zen somehow ends up getting a headshot with those pre-fires, eventually does give them the opening shot, but Galactica, they will continue to apply the pressure, but Zoid is still alive and kicking. 2 shots back-to-back with the Vandal. Can he get a third? No, immediately gets flipped out.
Last player
immediately gets
standing.
traded out from none other than the enemy Killjoy. It's a 1v2. Looks like the ISO's kill contract did not succeed, did not favor for the side of Zenith. But it's still a 1v2. It is still salvageable. And looks like it can happen. 1v2. I think it would be best for Aspire to get the upgrade of a Vandal. I think it's best to, get the Vandal in order to engage in those 1v1 fights. Let's not forget the spike's been dropped nearby. All he needs is just the info. No, not a good way to pull out your off weapon like that, Aspire. You had it under control, but it's just twitchy fingers. Eventually leading the victory for Galactica. Somehow manages to secure a clutch that was desperately in need of a win, especially knowing that this is singular limbs. So first half, that win was necessary for Galactica to win.
Absolutely. They definitely needed that just to put the brakes on Zenith for just a moment, just to give themselves that little room to breathe. It's given them enough credits to go in for a pretty good buyout as well. You've got the operator coming in. You've got all the Vandals you would expect in the hands of the Jet. Here we have Aspire going in, op in hand, rushing right through that Viper cloud. No one's going to take quite advantage of that. Presence detected as ISO, unfortunately, will need to hold off for just a second. Uzi finds Zoid, and that's a huge down right there. But there's the op back, the clock back, and Zenichi finds the Viper on the other side. Immediately, GLC put, once again, on the back foot. The attackers are not having a very good time here at Icebox today. Ooh, Bumbo sees the enemy.
One enemy remaining.
Off. Killjoy does go down, and there's Aspire with another KO off the board. That's a triple. Can they make it a quad for the round? We'll just have to wait and see. So with the last one standing, and checking the corner. These ones, that's Mighty, of course. That's the ISO. That's the shield that's gone up. Can't exactly be a gunfight right now. Shield breaks. Oh, it's so far. Caught in a bad position. Mighty will be the one to get the kill. And that, once again, puts Zenith back on a 4-round lead. 7-3.
Yep, 7-3. Aspire, Inspire, he does it again. 3 kills with the Operator. And of course, let's not forget, there is still a... I mean, the thing about Icebox is that, sure, in the first half, if it does ends up on a 9-3, you could say the curse could still be in effect on the second half. Because I've seen multiple matches, especially on a map like Icebox, where it heavily favors for the defenders if you do it right. If you try to hold your if you try to use your utilities at the right time at the right moment. So I have to say, for Zenith, sure, it shouldn't be a difficult situation for them to hold their ground out. But let's see how Galactica will keep up a situation like this, though. Mighty once again, somehow, he gets away one. Zenith chips with the second. Uzi. Frenzy does not work out well in his favor, though, which forces Galactica to end up getting the side control to themselves. So post-round is present. It's a 3v3. Looks like Galactica can end up salvaging this round here, Jack.
That recon bolt is also going to give them a lot of intel on where the defenders are trying to push in from. Aspire could maybe see on the underside there with the box. No, not quite. Bongo finds KO. That's a huge one. Pushing in, Aspire. No! That out, unfortunately, goes to the ground. Sova goes down to the Arizona. Zenichi getting that kill. But it's all down to the 1v1. And Zenichi proves too good for the GLC attackers. That is going to be a defuse of the spike and a very good retake indeed from 3 very different angles.
Last round
very
in
short
the half.
moment of chaos right there as Aspire popped the ult and really pushed in with the knives out. Couldn't quite secure anything much, but you had Bumbo, you had the Sovas, NHG FPS getting those required picks. 8-3, that's a 5-round lead. We could potentially see a 9-3 Baba, and if it is a 9-3, of course, as we all know, the 9-3 curse might potentially come into the running, but that is a consideration for the future. Right now, last round of the first half.
Yep, last round, and for Zenith, a really good way to hold their ground out, securing a massive lead in the first half. Cause a lot of problems though this time, as Galactica, they will show their amount of perseverance with yet another aggressive execute towards the A side. They removed out one of the players. Post plant is imminent. So is the information. Lockdown will be implemented as well. This way, it will give a lot of time, but the Hunter's Fury will make sure to deny the Killjoy's lockdown, which gives them much more opportunity for Team Zenith to push in even much more further. Gonna be tough though. Galactica, they're playing it patiently. They have to wait for the Killjoy's timer to come to an end, and once that's done, Zenith will make their push. What's going to happen though? They have all corners covered. They have the information. Currently, you can see that KO is in much more bigger trouble. Aspire once again, his op shots working well as a charm, but for Killjoy, somehow he survives with a limp on the leg. 8-3, he gets away. Sova shock dart. A shocking response from Team Galactica as they will end the first half on an 8-4.
Oh, wow. That actually got a lot closer than I think anyone would have particularly expected, given the trend of the last few rounds. Bumbo popping a huge ult right there on the Viper, trying to smoke in, get the potential defuse, but only to get shocked out of the cloud and shot down to the ground, as they say. Zenith could have made it a 9-3, but it is an 8-4 instead. GLC managing to take one very crucial round, and once again, it's all about, taking the momentum that the enemy team is building up and trying to put a stop to it no matter what. And in the case
Revealing
of the
area.
now defending team, it is going to be very important to conserve any momentum that they have
I have
gotten
the
from
spike.
that one round win. Mind you, of course, first round of the second half, which means that it is a pistol round for everybody. Crazy trying to get that first engagement going, has to fall back, reloads, and we are now well and truly into the second half.
Yep. Once again, the turret will detect some of the players. I believe that goes all the way towards long, or maybe it was the mid side. Never mind. KO is right there, present. He takes out the important player, Bumbo. He's been dealing major damage in the first half, but right now in the pistol round, he won't be available. So is the server from the side of Team Zenith. Which leads to the double duelist, the ISO and the Jet. But looks like that will be taken care of from Killjoy. Viper's gonna be careful of two important lines of sight in which he won't succeed in doing so. Forcing in a 2v4, Zenith in a very big problem as the Killjoy will get an impressive headshot from the Ghost. But it all comes down to Aspire. Maybe he could inspire his teammates to secure this 1v3 clutch of a pistol round, which could help them boost their morale up. And looks like it is slowly underway. 20 seconds left. He could pick up the spike and go all the way towards the backside. Dash is still present. The Jukes is so much working out well.
10 seconds
4 seconds required for the spike plant. He will eventually stick the plant. 1v1. Aspire. Can he deliver a massive blow? He does not. Sova denies it immediately, and Galactica will secure their pistol round in the second half.
Once again,
It is over.
Incredibly important round here for Galactica as they are shortening this lead that Zenith has put forth. Now it's an 8-5, and Galactica getting closer and closer to potentially bringing it back, putting it out. They are on the defense side, and as we've seen so far on Icebox, defense has been a relatively good side to be on. Zenith going on the attack. Well, they almost had a couple of moments where they could have pressed for a huge advantage. Fortunately, not quite working out. The angles, the checks, excuse me, they're the utilities, so to speak. And now, looks like they're all gathering up with a line of sight going all the way through B. That is, of course, the Viper wall. That poison wall could be very integral to this push right about now, but they've got to deal with the defending Viper first, hiding behind the yellow crate as Aspire and Zenith that recon dart will give away the position. Op comes in, couldn't quite snag the kill. Shots are fired and Aspire will come in. That wasn't an opportunity, that was a revolver. KO finds Zoid on the other side. As the picks have started and the action is underway.
Yep. Weapon upgrades is in. So is the information. Let's not forget, ISO is all the way from the backside. And he's just giving away such good information, indicating that the entire A side is clear. We could go in for a post plant, but looks like the timing of it is not working out right because both the Jet and the Sova are in the right time. Mighty almost missed it, but looks like the opening is so crispy and so good for Zenith to not miss this opportunity.
Spike planted.
That was a huge double kill right there using that revolver.
Last player
On
standing.
the ISO, here's Bumbo on the Viper. KJ goes down to KO, last one remaining. Hostiles might be detected, but the shots are fired from all over the place. A thrifty round from Zenith on the attack. Repositioning after a failed push on the B-bomb site. Very, very well done, especially on the ISO. Mighty just taking that little corner underneath the walkway and deciding, hey, this is my home now. You guys better get out. And boy, oh boy, did he do exactly that. Well played indeed. 9-5, back to a 4-round lead that Zenith has maintained relatively well across the course of this matchup. But now, what will happen? Well, Aspire with 2! What a way to start off the next round.
Out of my way.
Yep. That's the. I mean, that's how you start with an explosive start, though. 2 shots from the Outlaws, realizing that they have no other choice but to go in with a save round. Let's not forget, Outlaws can one-shot players through body even if they're using a light armor at this point. So the only way to counter it is by using a heavy armor. In the state it had, they use that advantage, and next thing you know, the advantage will be theirs. But Killjoy is still active. won't be able to, secure the round win, but at least he will die securing at least one kill from their end. But taking a look at this replay once again, though, Aspire realizing that they are forced on an eco round, the Outlaw was such a valuable buy. Getting those 2 kills was more than enough to give them the opening and also securing the site, in which, they could have either gone to B or A. And looking at Team Zenith, it's 10-5. Team Galactica, they have to figure out a way, and I think it would be a best idea to go in for a timeout at this point. Timeout is good.
I do actually agree on that one, Baba. They definitely feel like they need a timeout. Something telling me that they're a little bit lethargic. I don't know if that's necessarily the right word, but they do feel like they are unsure on their feet. Uzi, however, will try to prove us wrong as Bumbo goes down. That's a Viper, mind you. The controller, one of the better controllers in Icebox at that.
Here.
Going down first. That is not a good sign for Zenith. However, they have the rest of their team up and ready. It is looking like a confrontation on the A-bomb side. There come the Viper walls from the defending team right about now, as Galactico are really close to potentially getting a side plan going. Selva coming out underneath the ramp. There's Zoid with the first one. Zoid with the second. That's 2 huge picks right about now, forcing Uzi back. And potentially clearing out A for a plant. There we go. Spike is on the floor. Potentially sticking it. There we go. There goes Uzi. Mighty with a huge headshot right there. Now it's a 4v2. And all of a sudden, Galactico, despite starting off so strong in this defensive position, now find themselves in a bit of a pinch. Killjar finding Mighty in the meanwhile, isolating that gunfight, taking the first pick in this post-plan situation. But the question is, can KJ and Viper pull themselves back into a site retake? It is a 2v3. It is possible, but they seem to be hesitating. I think the decision is being made to just hold back and save on the credits, making sure that their economy is much better off in the next round. The spike will blow up. It is now 11-5, 6-round lead for Zenith, which is, mind you, massive. And the question now, of course, remains, was the decision by Galactico right there the best one, given that there's always the chance you could pull off a clutch in a 2v3, but who knows, maybe they made the right choice, maybe it will pay off, only time will tell.
Yeah, but I have to say, Jack, previous round, Zoid just made sure that the players who were holding in from the A side, especially Team Galactica, will stay null and void. And that's exactly what we did get to witness there in the previous round. A massive kill, a massive execute, which definitely favored for Team Zenith. The economy is theirs, which makes for the side of Team Galactica even much more problems. And here comes the kill contract. A 1v1 battle between the ISO and the player who got caught from the trap. And looks like Killjoy will actually win the 1v1 battle. Would you look at that? Scared and afraid. Team Zenith will have no other choice but to fall back and choose their execute in towards A. But guess what? No one's home.
Well. About not fulfilling contracts right there. Mighty, unfortunately, couldn't quite take down the KJ. KO in the meanwhile. It took a few shots, but Zoid had to go down. Zenith gets the plant on the floor, but now and KO has the ult ready to go as well. This is not exactly a great position to be in if you're in the shoes of Zenith. However, Zenith gets one, immediately gets shot back down. KO is unrelenting today. Viper finds his fire, but Bumbo is the last one standing, trying their hardest in this position to potentially get maybe a pick, maybe disrupt the economy, but not gonna be able to. Sova gets the kill, and mind you folks, I did call it out earlier in the round, was the save from the last round a good decision from GLC? Galactico, that is? Yes, it was. They managed to take this round, and that's gonna be of a great help to them. Going into now, I think it's the 17th round. Yes, it is. 11-6. It is still a 5-round lead for Zenith for the 17th round, especially after that win for Galactico. This could once again be one of those pivotal turnaround moments. But the question is, Baba, what do you think? Will they be able to pull this off?
Well, I would say that consistency is key, and for Galactica, Winning
drop.
that previous round, even though let's not forget it was a very broken round, Jack.
I got
Galactica did ended up securing one of the most important kills, especially KO with 2 back-to-back martial kills, a headshot, which definitely forced Zenith on a very difficult situation right here. If they do not figure out a way to dismantle the morale that Galactica has right now, I would say that Team Zenith will have a major problem in their hands.
A quiet
Blocking
moment in the match as the sight of that recon drone is blocked. That's really good use of the smoke of the jet. And meanwhile, Hunter's Fury out to play, but not going to catch one. Does tag up the defending Viper a little bit. Avail Killjoy with the
Spike
first one.
down,
Aspire
B.
going down. And that's the spike carry killed as well. Viper goes down to Zoid, and here is the Viper's pit. That's going to be a massive deal. Zoid going in, getting the spike on the ground. It's a 4v4, relatively equal, just in terms of
should
health.
run.
There's a little bit more on the side of Zenith. The attacker Killjoy lockdown is now in position. This could be huge. This is double anchor play right about now. Also sitting in the Viper's pit, just waiting. Potentially 2 players have been detained by the attacker Killjoy as well. Mighty finds one. Bumbo goes down to Killjoy in the meanwhile. And there's another Bumbo
Last
off the
player
floor.
standing.
And Zenichi just holding right by the spike. Mighty with the final kill, with the 3K, excuse me, taking down Uzi.
Match point.
And that once again puts Zenith, I should say, on a very, very good position. Not only does that extend their lead back up to 6 rounds, it puts them, folks, on match point. As you can see, this time around, they were a lot more sure of themselves, and they were definitely not about to take that loss from the last round sitting down.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mighty with the longest flank of the century. I mean, I wouldn't call it as a century, but
Placing
you know,
alarm
it
bomb.
just happened in mere seconds. But it will bring up the necessary rounds required for the side of Team Zenith to secure match point. And for Team Galactica, massive problems from their end. Sheriffs in close range is very powerful, but in long range, you need to secure 2 headshots back to back. Actually, a headshot and a body shot to ensure the kill. But more likely, currently, Team Galactica, they're the ones currently facing major issues here. And the only thing that they can rely on heavily is from that lockdown. If that lockdown is present in post-run, that is the only way where Team Galactica can manage to hold out their post-run, and that's exactly what they're waiting for, and that's exactly what Zenith is predicting right here, knowing that one of the players will be playing in towards mid. If they take out one of the players, if they take out Uzi, then that is more than enough to get them the opening pick, and also their answer to go which side did they have to go from.
Blocking sight.
Ooh, there we go. Uzi with the first attempt right there, missing a couple of the knives, has 3 remaining in the air, but has to take a shot. 7 health, has to fall back. Zenichi and Mighty
30 seconds
finding
left.
2 huge picks in the meanwhile. This could
Spike
potentially be the
planted.
last round for Galactico, as unfortunately it just hasn't worked out. He sees the gun falling
Last
out,
player
misses a few
standing.
more shots, and unfortunately will have to go down. Aspire and Zoid
Team
taking down
Ace.
those operators, and
Attackers
there
win.
you go. Viper finding the final kill. Folks, we have our winner of the final quarterfinals match. As you can see in this instant replay, Zenith will be the ones to take it with a very convincing lead indeed. 13-6 to them at the end of the day. And what a scoreboard it is indeed. Bumbo and Aspire matching at 22 picks each. And mind you, the utility play from Zenith was extremely well placed, well coordinated this time around as well. And all things considered, just a really good showing from them. And while Galactico gave us a very good shout indeed, they definitely gave them a run for their money. It just wasn't quite enough. They were a little too unsure of their feet, a little bit too much of the time. So it is what it is. So, Gusta, any final words for this final quarterfinals match that we just had?
Well, I would say that it's a really great start, especially for our. I mean, it's a really great start for us to start things off on Valorant Clash of Champions, of course. And talking about the entire single elims, really quite excited to see what's going to happen on the semi-finals, Jack, because we have our two matches, which will be up against Team ROG Academy versus Fambra, and of course the second semi-finals matchup, which will be none other than Team Nonchalant versus Team Zenith. So winner of these two will have a direct spot to the grand finals, which is a huge prize pool of 10,000 rupees. So I would say that there's a lot of competition that is going on between these four teams. And I have to say the amount of matches that we did get to cast right now. I mean, currently we did, get to cast two matches. Of course, we didn't get to cast the other two matches because of technical difficulties. Usually it happens most of the time, folks. Not to worry about that. But still, in the end, I did get to see a lot of great matches just from these two matches, folks. And I assure you, in the semi-finals, it's going to be even much more tougher. It'll be much more challenging, and of course, it will be entertaining for us, the audience, the viewers who are watching the stream as well. So yeah, that is my two take on that, Jack. And also, it's been a long time since I've casted along my partner in crime, Blackjack. So yeah, it's really fun casting alongside with him again.
It definitely is. Absolutely. And we are definitely looking forward to more matches coming up, folks. Do not forget, tomorrow will be the semifinals, and we'll see you right back here on Point Out for the Valorant Clash of Champions. Remember to like and subscribe, follow on all the social medias to keep up on the latest news on the Clash of Champions. And with that being said, we will see you next time.
Y'all sit back and watch me speak. About to take over your screen. Talking bulls in 93. Talking mama, I'm on TV. Y'all know all I do is me. All I do is me. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and all I know, my money green. About to snap and make a scene. My cup off and make this free. My cup off and make them scream. Go pop off for TMZ. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch me speak. Y'all sit back and watch. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Money long, nothing on credit. I got style, don't catch no feelings. All this bread ain't got no lettuce. I got style, don't catch no feelings. Watch me. Watch me. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, if it ain't got style, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. If it ain't got style, I ain't with it. Look, watch me. Sit back and watch. Watch me. Sit back.